Welcome to the New Music Podcast. We're your two regular jackoffs from upstate New York. My name is Patrick.
And I'm Kyle.
Yeah, let's fucking get it. Any other bullshit we can throw there? I don't know. Today we have a guest with me. Yes, I will do that now that you brought that up. Today we have a guest with us who has been a Facebook friend of mine for, I want to say close to like 5 years. I don't even know. I just feel like I've always had you on my Facebook friends for a like stupid long time.
Yeah, no, we've had like minor interactions.
Yeah.
And they've always been like super pleasant and always about like common interests, just like in a comments thread. But like for some reason we've just never
quite clicked. It's weird how Facebook and social media in general can be like that.
Well, to be fair, I'm kind of an introvert. I stick mostly to talking to people in comments, and then in my day-to-day life, I'm kind of just like hikikomori. Like I just stay at home and don't do anything. I'm at the gym. Like I'm just such a solitude-oriented person.
I get it. I totally get it. And honestly, that's been one of my favorite things about 2020 is that like nothing really has changed for me.
Yeah, no, I feel like I was made for this. I feel like Frieza. Like this isn't even my final form.
Oh my god. So obviously we are here to talk about In Vain and everything that has been going on with In Vain. How would you explain the band in general anyways? Because I have a hard time pinning down like one sound for you guys.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that comes down to instead of working out what the band was supposed to be behind the scenes and taking like a bunch of years to like make a band, we kind of just decided to air out all the dirty laundry as we made it. And so like from the beginning, like we just hit the ground running and started releasing stuff. And I think people have been able to like track where we've like grown and where we've shifted, which I think is like kind of cool and kind of awkward in some ways. But, I like being transparent as an artist.
Well, being a musician in general is kind of awkward sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're writing about very personal stuff or like stuff that you are not sure other people are going to connect with.
Hell yeah. Normally what I ask in the beginning of these podcasts is, what is your origin story? How did In Vain sort of become what it is now?
So In Vain started out of the ending of my previous band, which is called Romanticide. It's just like a little like small town project, and it was a pretty nasty divorce between all of us. And the keyboardist of In Vain, Alanson, is a longtime friend of mine, and he hit me up and was like, "Yo, I really want to do this like industrial 2-person project." And he convinced me that he had a lot of musical experience, and I later found out he was lying. He knew nothing about music, and he totally conned me into this project. But we laugh about it now. It just like quickly turned into like, oh, well, now we want to do like live guitars. Let's bring in like a buddy, and oh, well, let's do this. And suddenly we were just like a whole band. So what turned into like what started as like an industrial project turned into like a post-hardcore, I don't know, band that was trying to have industrial influence. So I think we kind of grew into that, hopefully.
Well, based on the tracks that you've sent us, I would say that is definitely a comfortable place to put you guys, is somewhere between post-hardcore and industrial. I fuck with it. For sure.
I appreciate that.
I fucks with it a lot. It reminds me of a band that I can't think of right now, and it's blowing my mind. I'll figure it out later on.
It will be way done with the podcast at that point. You'll be like, yo, it was that fucking band.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be like 3 a.m. He's going to text you.
If I ever got a message from Kyle at 3 a.m, I'd be first calling him to ask him if he's okay.
Yeah.
If he, started doing coke again.
3 in the morning. It's like, you up?
Just, did you start doing coke again?
Are you good? Are you sure you're good? How much have you been drinking?
Fucking great.
I think the weirdest thing about In Vain though is that we talked about the post-hardcore and industrial influence kind of coming together. I don't think it's something that naturally works, but at the same time, I grew up really loving things like Alice Cooper, Marilyn Manson, and then also like The Used and My Chemical Romance. So I can't deny myself a really good melodic harmonic chorus, but at the same time, like I want really heavy stuff and I want to talk about some like really unsavory things that humanity has to offer. So
what are those unsavory things you want to talk about?
Oh God.
Give me the tea.
Well, we got a song about, well, I wrote it about Mitch MCConnell. So if that tells you anything.
Okay, maybe this says more about my ignorance about real world things that I don't know what that is.
Mitch MCConnell is a person I like to refer to as a Republican hate turtle. He's a Republican from Kentucky who has a lot of sway among Republicans, and he looks like a 120-year-old turtle, and he's just a very hateful, greedy person. And
so if the turtle hermit from Dragon Ball Z became a politician and decided somehow, you know what, that actually makes sense that he would become a Republican.
Think of Franklin the Turtle from like Nickelodeon.
Oh my God, it's Franklin.
Yeah, that's a lot closer. Like he looks seriously like a turtle.
All right, Nickelodeon's gonna come after us for that comment right there.
Oh my God. That used to be my shit too. Fuck you, Franklin, my boy.
Two different generations, my kid.
Yeah, so we wrote a song about Mitch MCConnell, and it's, well, I mean, it was inspired by Mitch MCConnell, but it really is just mainly talking about the greed and the destruction that we're bringing on ourselves right now.
Mm-hmm.
I guess this whole EP that we're working on for next year, 2021, it's largely about, I wanted to talk about what we're doing to our planet and what we're doing to ourselves. I think this year has brought out like the best and the worst of us in a lot of ways, and it's inspired me a lot.
Definitely agree.
Definitely. And so would you say that like a lot of your 2020 has been spent, sitting on your couch with a pen and paper?
More like with my phone. I write everything into my phone these days.
Same.
Yeah, I try to be old school because there's like a romantic feeling about it. That gets very intimate being with a pencil and paper, but more often than not, it's just more convenient to type things into my fucking iPhone.
Same. Like listeners have heard me mention this a million times before and by now, but like Google Notes and like Google Docs in general has just become such a major resource for me because of the amount of times that I have lost lyrics because I decided, okay, yeah, I'm going to type them all up on some like obscure notepad app, and then something happens to my phone and then all that work is gone.
You know, an app that I've been using a lot, and I'll pull it up so I can remember what it's called. It's called Word Palette.
Mm-hmm.
So basically you can take like huge passages of works that you want to be inspired by that has really interesting words, and you load it into the app, and you can like change out your keyboard to these like tiles that have all of these buzzwords just like jumbled around, and you swipe through them, and you can just like look at these different words to get inspiration. So then you swipe back to your keyboard and you're like, oh, that word is like really great, let me just like, and it just kind of sparks ideas. I've gotten super addicted to using that.
You have actually like really piqued my curiosity with that one, because any kind of tool that helps with creativity is my shit, and I'll spend hours on it.
Do you use iPhone?
No, I'm a fucking Android boy.
Same. I used
It might be for Android, but I'll send you like the name of it in chat.
That is the best way to do it because I am so fucking forgetful. I'm to the point where I need a fucking calendar. I need a fucking calendar to keep up with anything. Like, oh my God. But it's different, man. I got kids, like, well, soon to be kids. So it's like my brain is just in like a million places all the time anyway.
I'm surprised you even remind me. Like, hey, asshole, we gotta interview.
Oh yeah, we gotta do podcasting. That thing that we do, you know, like every fucking Saturday.
All right, what time? All right, I'll be there.
All right, I'll be there.
I'll be there. Don't worry about
it. 12 beers later. Here we are.
Listen here.
Oh man. But what else can we talk about with the new stuff? I know that you mentioned that there is a feature on this one that you're really stoked about.
Yeah. So we're in the middle of working out the collab right now. It's kind of early talks, but we know that we're going to do it, so I can talk about it. Mm-hmm. We worked on this track, and I really experimented with different things I could do with my voice on this upcoming record. I grew up with a lot of 90s hip hop and rap, and with all of the artists that have come out in the last 5 years blending metal and rap, and it's just like so good and not cringy, and it's just like really inspired me. So we experimented with that. We came up with some really good stuff that we thought was sick, and our label has this connection to this other label called Grotesque that has like alternative rappers and hip hop artists, and there's this artist there that our A&R just thought was a really, really good fit, and his name is Keep My Secrets, all like one word. And he's just like this super alternative spooky dude. He's like,
I'll have to check him out.
He's like spooky Post Malone.
You really piqued my fucking. Hold up. Send that to Pat so we can send it to me. Hold up.
Oh fuck
yeah. No, I'll forward it to you.
Hold up.
So like I remember a couple years ago there was this guy who was identifying himself as a goth rapper, but really he just sounded like a rapper who had like goth aesthetic, and I was like, this is super disappointing. Like, where's the fucking actual like spooky vibes in the music though?
Are you not wanting to name drop, or
I genuinely just don't fucking remember his name.
Dude, you know who I think is killing it the most right now when it comes to like spooky hip hop and rap is fucking Denzel Curry.
Denzel Curry? I've heard that name.
So
I know I've heard that name.
I'm sorry, like Darko and fucking Lil Revive have always killed it with that shit.
Yeah, no, check out Denzel Curry. His big record that a lot of people took notice of was Black Balloons. It's pretty good.
How long ago was that? Because NF's record last year had a lot of black balloons in it. I'm sorry.
Was that like a theme?
Yes. If you look up the search, the video, the search for NF, and you've probably heard it, like, hey Nate, how's life? I don't know, it's all right.
Oh no, the album was called Tattoo. It's got a song on it called Black Balloons. It's called Tattoo, and instead of like TATTOO, it's TA1300.
Gotta be creative,
but it's a dope album.
I mean, I don't hate on that shit. Like, no. I roll my eyes when I see that stuff just because that's my nature. Like, I can't not do that. But then when I like really get into it, I'm like, all right, I fuck with this.
I mean, but also like that search engine.
There you go. That was my next thing.
When you type that in, like that's the only album that's gonna come up.
Literally, it's like you look at it as like this fucking guy.
You know, the new metal guys from like the late 90s and early 2000s weren't thinking about that when they came up with that shit, or like even before that.
Like,
Linkin Park claims that they did.
You also know like the fucking the font. You always can tell which font is going to be the numbers. For some reason, that weird fucking 13 pops up, like Biker Gang 13 or some shit.
Yeah,
that's immediately what I thought of. And then I was immediately like Pat said, this fucking guy.
Yup. Oh man. The guy that comes to mind with the search engine optimization just because of like how he types in his song titles is Scarlord, because first of all his name in and of itself just has an X over every O. And so like every song does that. And so like he's the only guy that has songs with that are titled that way. So when you go to search it, you find it right away. And I think that there's something inherently smart
and I
and
haven't checked
very
out
modern
Scarlord,
about
but
that.
I've heard about him.
Like here's the thing is that like if you really like screamo, you're probably going to be into the idea of like pop goes punk style, like what he does. And like there are times where his 808s hit like breakdowns do, like with the triplets and stuff like that. But I think that there's only really like one song that I really fuck with, but I don't know, he's still a pretty cool artist though. And I give him mad respect for doing as well as he does, being screaming the way that he does, especially over rap music. It's fucking cool.
I mean, the past couple years have kind of destroyed my preconceptions about music and genres. I've always tried to keep an open mind, but especially the last few years have just like obliterated any idea of just not accepting something. Like, you know, I'm all open for checking out new stuff. I'm not always gonna like it. You know, just, you know, certain tastes or whatever, but you know, I can definitely appreciate everything that's going on right now artistically. It's such a good time to be an artistic person.
It is and it isn't, because the thing with that is that, well, yes, all the resources are there, but there is definitely a lot of competition. Well, I feel like when I say it like that, it definitely breeds the wrong idea, because it definitely is more of a community thing than people would probably think. And so like competition is definitely the wrong word to use with that, but it is definitely saturated.
Yeah.
I agree. And I definitely have experienced that in my time pursuing a professional career as a musician. In like a lot of people from my local scene have gotten super discouraged and fallen out because of that. I keep pushing.
I mean, if you truly cared about the music to begin with, you wouldn't see that as a reason to stop. You would see that as a reason to prove yourself as, you know, a better artist, like a reason to grow more. That's just my opinion, though.
Yeah, I totally agree. I also think that with the community aspect that you mentioned, I don't think that the community was quite in the direction that it's heading now, like a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that as we, as a metal and rock community, start opening up to being collaborative with each other, it's going to be a lot healthier for the music scene. Like, I really think we have a lot to learn from the hip hop scene.
Facts, because they are willing to jump on and just have someone they just met, really, that they like truly respect, hop on a song with them just cause like they respect their sound and everything. And that is so cool to see them do that shit.
Like, you look at hip hop festivals and the main stages often are just like fresh artists. It's not like the rock scene where the main stages are people that we've heard of for the past 40 years. It's like, yeah, we've seen Leonard Skinner play before. It's I'm over it.
I'm tired of that band. So tired of that band.
I could, you know, I'll take Leonard Skinner. If we're talking like overplayed classic rock, I'll take Leonard Skinner over AC/DC any day.
I don't know. I'm kind of tired of both, to be honest.
I mean, lesser of two evils is all I'm saying.
That's fair. That's a fair way to look at it, for sure. I don't know, man. Like I'm definitely, I could do without another AC/DC record. I could do without another Bon Jovi record. I think all those guys can hang up their hats and be fine.
Yeah, I can do without another Metallica song.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence, even with like, I hate saying this publicly, but Megadeth. And I know their last record.
Same shit. I was thinking the same shit.
I know their last record won a Grammy, but like, I feel like they won it just because it was time for them to win a Grammy.
Something? Yeah.
Obligatory.
Yeah, not yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like that one actor. That
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah,
there we go.
Never won an award instead of like that 1 year. Yeah.
So
yeah.
So hear me out. Like, I think that's bullshit. That like we have to pity an artist like Megadeth or a big actor, in order to give them what they fucking deserve. Why do we have to pity them in order to actually treat them right? Like, what the? How fucking toxic is Hollywood and just the scene in general? If this is how we treat our artists.
Sorry, we snubbed you 15 years ago. Here's a Grammy for this record that is honestly past your prime, but here you go.
But here you go. We did it. You're welcome, bitch.
And I'm not saying, for the record, I'm not saying that their last record, Dystopia, was bad. I'm just saying that I don't think it was the album that should have won them a Grammy. You know what I mean?
I'm with that. Yeah. I can get with that.
Yeah.
And the thing is like I don't fuck with that band. I grew out of. I don't either. And it's the thing is like, as many times as we shit on these bands, I don't do it because I disrespect them. I do it because I grew out of that style of music so quickly and like dove into the next style of music so quickly that like even now like I'm quick to shit on bands like Whitechapel and Suicide Silence because I'm on to the next thing.
Yeah.
And it's an ever evolving thing with people like me. And I know that this generation is kind of the same way, where they're like, okay, trap metal's cool now. What's the next thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that comes with being post-internet age. Our receptors for receiving knowledge were just so thirsty for the next thing because 30 years ago, it's whatever was at the record store, and you had the choice between like maybe 30 albums every 2 months that you might be interested in. But now we're blasted, and like you said earlier, saturated is such a key word. We're just blasted with content constantly. And like, because of that, things are progressing faster. We've seen more music progression, I would argue, in the past 3 years than I think happened in like the entire span of the 90s. Like
the 90s
in this 1 year alone,
to begin with. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
I mean, let's be real. There's some Paula Abdul songs that were a bop, but we won't talk about that.
Look, even just, any artist, like a lot of the mainstream music is a lot better than we thought it was back then. And I'm fine with that. But still, like, there is so much good music out there. To think that, like, that's it is kind of, it's bullshit. It's a cop-out.
I totally agree. Yeah, no, but we've seen so much, like, evolution. I mean, this year, the past 2 years, we had Lil Nas X put out Old Town Road.
Yeah.
And we've had bands like I Prevail go really big with this rap sound, with this metal sound. We've had WAP. Like, what even is 2020, like, artistically? It's such a weird world we live in now.
I've said this before on the podcast, and I know it's a hot take, but I don't care. WAP was the single greatest thing to happen to 2020. Fucking at me. I dare you.
I'm at you right now.
A lot of people were salty about it.
Fucking hearing it. I'm sick of hearing it.
I think it is the most entertaining thing that has happened this year, and you watch how many other people were inspired by WAP and tell me otherwise.
I mean, I'm not saying that. Like, I'm not giving disrespect by that, but I've heard it so many fucking times. If I hear it one more time, I'm literally playing in traffic.
That I kind of do understand, because I don't believe the song has a ton of replayability.
No.
It's, for me, like, again, I grew up with artists like Alice Cooper and Marilyn Manson. So to me, the theatrical, outlandish aspect of what that song brings to the table, it's all shock value. And that's what pushes the bar in 2020. It's the same thing as Iggy Pop doing crazy shit in the 60s. It's just where our bar is now. And so, I'm about it. It's entertainment,
That's the other thing that, like, this is something that gets hammered by guys like Finn McKenty at Punk Rock MBA, is like, you got to be more than just an artist now. You got to be a fucking entertainer, and you got to be on 8 different social medias. Yeah. It's a totally different climate. It's not just be an artist and be a good artist. Like, there are a million good artists out there.
Well, you got to be funny.
You got to be it all.
Controversial.
Which is why this podcast is doomed to fail. We're not funny. Oh, man.
We're very controversial. Can't get the funny. Shucks.
Damn it. Man, if only we could be Joe Rogan.
If you do one thing long enough, I feel like the other is bound to happen.
Yeah.
It's just like
maybe.
It's an eventuality.
So we gotta wait for the pity, is what you're saying. Look, these guys.
No, you just have to do it.
Years. Let's just give it to them already.
Let's just give.
You got to do it long enough. You got to play that long game and do it for so long, and just dive into the controversial bit that in 10 years people look back on it and they find it and they're like, "Oh, I get it now."
Yeah.
It's like that girl I saw back in 2010. She was like, damn, man, he ate my ass so good then. But like, if he tried to do that in 2020, I'd be like, yes, keep going. But that was 2010, man. We weren't eating ass in 2010.
Different times. Yeah.
Way different times.
Man, we're all about that kinky shit back then. We had just saw fucking 50 Shades. 50 Shades was like new. But I had already been doing that shit for 5 years. So it was like, whatever.
Yeah, no, same. And I'm not even really about 50 Shades. So
no, me either.
I'm not about 50 Shades because I'm not about emotional abuse.
Yeah.
So there's two things there for me as someone that is pretty public about being, BDSM friendly. Yeah. I can appreciate it as a story because a story doesn't necessarily have to be morally correct, right?
Yeah.
The story can be whatever. But the thing that I don't appreciate is that because the story presents an inaccurate depiction of what a healthy BDSM relationship should be, and it pushes it to a mass audience that is not familiar with the BDSM community.
Yeah.
And then they are led into thinking that that is what the BDSM community by far and large like buys into. And that for me, like I am not comfortable with that because it's such a unhealthy depiction of.
That sounds like the Joker in
well, it all came out around the same time. Harley Quinn.
Yeah, Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
It sounds like that type of relationship. And
that is textbook toxic relationship right there. I mean, Joker knew exactly what he wanted and how to get it. Pretty fucking textbook right there. But obviously, you are very public about it because you have your OnlyFans content, and that is something that I see you talk about a lot recently. So I knew naturally this was just going to be something that came up anyways. It's kind of crazy that people still have a stigma about it.
Yeah. Especially with how big OnlyFans has gotten this year with like people not being able to find work. And I've actually not had a lot of negative experience telling people what I do as a side hustle. And I've gotten a lot of support, and it's probably because for the last couple years, I've already sort of nurtured this community around me that is supportive and, super cool.
Yeah.
Which I love my friend list. That's why you're on my friends list. It's, people that aren't cool don't tend to stay around very long.
It is what it is, man. But I remember reading somewhere that OnlyFans got bought out I remember seeing 56 million was somewhere in the headline about OnlyFans. So I don't know if it had to do with something like it was being bought by another shareholding or something to that effect. But OnlyFans has blown up so much bigger than anybody probably would have ever expected.
Yeah.
And so like when people give guys like Franzak, like, we've mentioned way more often than we probably should on this show.
Way more.
When
giving that dude so much free press,
literally,
dude, our press ain't shit compared to what he can do on his own. So
that's true.
Whatever.
That is true, dude. But, you know what we like? Okay, real quick sidebar.
No, please do.
I've got a friend who reached out to Franz because he recently said that he was doing deals for features.
Yeah. This is T right here.
Oh my god, do you want to know what this dude charges?
I can't imagine.
As a deal.
I can't imagine.
As a deal.
As a deal.
This is him being like,
deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$7,000.
Bitch, what?
For what would probably end up being maybe a verse. Or a bridge.
My God.
Now, here's the thing. Like, I don't think this gets talked about enough. Stay Sick parted ways with Franz. So Stay Sick is going to be under a different name. So like all the artists that want to stay on Stay Sick are not going to be, Stay Sick anymore. It's going to be a totally different thing.
I didn't even know about
Franzak doesn't the reason you don't know about it is because Franzak doesn't talk about it. So
yeah, and honestly, Franz has been just a figurehead, just someone that the label could place out as
literally.
I got, some friends, I'm not going to name names, but I probably shouldn't be saying this to a dude that could, probably crush me with his Instagram influence. But I've heard that in meetings for the label. Yeah,
literally. Fuck out of here.
In meetings with the label, the dude would just get real fucking high and zone out, and they would just let him do his own thing. And why would you keep that around anyways?
Why would you expect anything else from him just based off of his like whole persona? And
especially his party persona. Like his persona is crazy. It's wild. It's like, if you ever heard of Charlie Classic, do you know Charlie Classic?
No, I'm not familiar.
He was a big Viner at the time. He collaborates with beautiful women, and he's got more of a sexual kind of shit, stuff like that.
I'm gonna piss real quick. I'll be right back.
All right.
Hot.
Take turns, Pat. Charlie Classic is more of like a sexual kind of person and shit like that. Like Franz is literally Charlie Classic, but literally 100 times more.
Just like on steroids?
Yeah, basically. And like Mike Busey from Sausage Castle as well.
See, and like comparisons always come down to what you're familiar with. For me, I equate Franz to, I can't remember his name, the dude that started Is Anyone Up?
Oh my god.
Yeah, do you know who I'm talking about?
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. I can literally see the person.
Yeah.
I can literally see the person.
I can't think of his fucking name. Such a scumbag. But yeah, I think of him because he's just like one of those hardcore dudes that shifted into being into hip hop and then just does like sex oriented stuff.
I mean, I get it. It's a big thing now. I get it. But
it sells for sure.
Oh yeah. But I can also go on my computer for free and just
No, I definitely understand that. It's
or since I have somebody.
I will say, as far as Franz goes, I do respect the hustle.
Oh no, we always say that. We respect the hustle, but geez.
Look, I may not think the dude is cool. I might think he's kind of cringy. I might think his hair plugs are cringy. I might think his music isn't my thing, but I will always respect the hustle.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've always wanted a conversation with the guy. I mean, fuck, we had one of his quote unquote rivals, Frankie, on the podcast.
Yeah, I remember that.
Dude, I was shitting bricks. I love that man so much.
I've got friends that know Frankie, but like we don't know each other.
Yeah. Frankie was such a cool dude, and what he said on the podcast, we were his last ever interview or anything for a long time. And I was like, oh.
He also had beef with Ronnie Radke, right?
Yeah. I mean, everybody had beef with Ronnie Radke.
Right.
I mean, Ronnie Radke was low-key a scumbag. Low-key.
Just low-key?
Full key.
I've heard some stories. I've heard some actually pretty fucking hilarious stories, but
I mean,
probably not my stories to tell.
Probably
because they're hilariously one-sided, as is with anybody with the kind of caliber of artist that someone like Ronnie Radke has. But
I mean, well, it's a little bit different when you're hearing the stories from like his friends, because I've heard stories from Max, and I've heard stories from Nick Matthews from Get Scared. Like, so it's one thing when like a fan tells like a shitty one-sided story, but it's another thing when Nick from Get Scared pulls you aside and is like, yo, remember this time? Or like, I remember this time at the aquarium, we were all fucked up, and he like pulled his pants down in front of everyone. Like,
or they're like, yo, he's actually telling the truth.
Yeah.
100% fan is telling the truth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's so many like I don't know if you heard Pat, but I've always wanted Franz on just to have a conversation with him.
Look, I'd love to have a conversation with him just to pick his brain.
Yeah, just not $300 or $7,000 worth just for like a sentence.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
My first used car was $2,000.
If In Vain ever got to a level, like hypothetically, let's say In Vain in 5 years hit like a couple 100,000 listeners, I would never ever imagine wanting to charge anywhere near that much for a feature.
Yeah,
like
I mean, it was funny because I mentioned this in a very old episode of the podcast, and Austin Dickey, right, from the likes of you and shit like that. He did a story on his Instagram making fun of Franz and saying like something like yeah, I'll do a collab with you for like $300, and I'll be like, that's it. He did some crazy. He was like,
well, the thing is it wasn't just about. I don't think it was just about
Chris, but you could tell it was like shooting towards him, but he wanted to be like brief with like everybody that does that.
Well, the guy from Enterprise Earth said some sort of astronomical figure for a feature from him too. I'm pretty sure that the time frame that you're talking about was about the guy from Enterprise Earth, because he was charging a outlandish amount of money for a feature. And granted, like if you've heard anything Dan Watson has ever done, it all sounds like and like Dan Watson, if you're listening, first of all, I fucking love you. Second of all, you have grown. Mere lore is proof that you have grown from doing just that. But come on.
Like the main thing is like, I get that you're stupid ass famous. Like, okay, cool. If you're like Franz, don't fucking charge people. Like, I understand you can charge people. Like, cool. I get it. You can charge people, but don't charge like a fucking used car worth. Or like,
yeah,
come on, bro. You already have a huge mansion. You have a huge mansion. You get all this fucking free shit, and like you sell a bunch of shit. Like, come on. You already make your own money.
I feel like you have to recognize the market that you are pushing yourself to. And I think that most of the bands that would want a feature from Franz honestly don't have that kind of money. And the bands that would have that kind of money are probably, well, maybe that, but they're probably already on a label that would give them a budget for that. So like, the coolest people we've ever approached talking about doing features or even like doing producing work are people that were like, yeah, man, if I like what I hear, like, the price is negotiable. Like, I'm just about doing the creative work. If I'm interested in it, the price can be figured out. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what should always come down to.
Which is why, like, as much as I love Featured X, I do have my gripes with it because it has created a platform. I don't know if you're familiar with this, Matt, but Featured X is like this great platform for people to hire a artist to feature on their songs. And artists like Helen Quinn honestly got so many DMs that he couldn't keep up. He had to close his account with them. And so, like, I love this concept of creating a platform for other artists to collaborate like that, but also recognizing that some people are beyond that, beyond being on a platform like that. I don't even think Helen Quinn knew how much how many DMs he was gonna get for that.
Yeah, that would be like, oh man, and yeah, that'd
be like Corey Taylor going on that shit.
Yo, Corey Taylor would never have to work another Stone Sour or Slipknot gig in his life.
No,
I didn't even know that a platform like that existed.
Yeah, I didn't know either until he said something.
Fucking,
how long has that been a thing?
This just started a couple of months ago. The guy from Fit for a King, Tuck O'Leary, he's one of the co-founders of it. The other founder, I actually have no fucking clue who it is, but their social media game is fucking on point. They've got a ton of artists and they're killing it. I think they're doing a great job. I love what they're doing. And I'm not just saying that because I already asked Tuck O'Leary to be on the show and didn't get a response. I'm just saying that because I genuinely like what he's doing. I think that it's a great thing for the scene. I also think it would be a great bridge, having Featured X be a great bridge bridge for certain artists to network with these artists in a platform where otherwise, if they tried to reach out to them on like Facebook DM or Twitter, they would just wind up being lost in an infinite number of DMs that there's no way they would be able to get to.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
That's why I also feel no gripe that like Tuck O'Leary hasn't responded back to me, because just thinking about how many listeners he has millions of listeners on his podcast already. I would have never fucking thought that I'd even get like a 2-minute conversation with him, let alone, potentially getting him to guest on this show. But when I did get a response from him, it was all positive. So I have that much to say.
I mean, it's the same thing when we got Frankie, dude. It was like the title hit.
Frankie is...
The title was like... I love how he said, dude, the title got me.
I'm glad.
I'm glad. The email got me, bro.
What was the title? Are you
podcast or nah?
No, it was. Oh. I'll even show you right now. So interview or nah.
Oh yeah. He was like, "Fuck it."
Hey man, whatever gets you into the conversation, I can respect.
I also think that, like, when we're talking about a guy like Frankie Palmieri, he's in a different spot in the scene than like some of the other big dogs.
Yeah.
Like, granted, yes, he's an OG, but like he's not untouchable. You can get to him if you really try, and I barely try. So what does that tell you?
I think some people are also more receptive and wanting to be accessible.
I mean, personally, I would rather be more, you can come to me whenever. I'd rather be like that. But like, I can see why people are like, all right, that's a little too much. Yeah. I can see that part.
Yeah, even on like my level, I get quite a few messages and I try to respond, but also at times like people can get a little strange or like a little too forward. So like, and that's another reason why I just try to keep things like in comment sections, like, let's chat there.
Public.
Like,
Yeah, public, yeah.
And like, I understand you're a fan, but like, let's keep it in a public setting. It's just like in person, like, I don't know you. I wouldn't take you into my home. I would meet you at Starbucks. We would chat over some coffee,
This is, something that like, I think most people need to hear is like, if you're selling stuff on Facebook, don't give them your fucking address. Don't be that stupid.
Yes. Agreed.
I can't believe that people actually do that. Because you never know who that other person on the other side is. Because literally. You can, all it takes is 30 days on a Facebook account to be able to start buying and selling on Facebook Marketplace. You don't know who that fucking person is.
I didn't even know that.
Well, I know that because I do a lot. I do a lot of like flipping. So like Craigslist flipping. So like that's my side hustle. I'm not sexy enough to have an OnlyFans. I'm sorry.
Well, that's debatable.
Ooh, Matt, damn. Damn. Oh, I'm getting red.
But I don't know, it's those hand tats, they get me.
Oh, fuck, I need to black them out now.
That's it. I'm blacking my body right now.
Oh, it's a cat cast.
Yeah, no, I've got a kitten. His name's Motley.
Yeah, the dummy. Motley? The dummy's with mommy right now, so he's a little occupied. Mommy hasn't been home in a couple of days, so he's up her ass.
How long have you had your kitten?
About 2 months. He's still pretty young.
I can tell.
Yeah. He took a while to get litter trained. He's super chill though.
We're talking about getting another cat just because my son keeps saying that we need to have another cat. So it's like, okay, well, he makes the rules.
Enough.
No, gotta have two.
Now, what type of cat is that, Pat, again?
Mine?
Oh, mine?
Well, both. I can do both.
Because mine's just it's just like a regular tabby.
I have no idea what kind of cat I have. None.
I thought it was like a Maine Coon for a minute. It's like part Maine Coon.
Does he have super big paws and like really pointy ears?
No.
See, because he's like literally just a fluff, like long ass.
He definitely has a long hair cat. That much is for sure. However, he's a white cat primarily with a lot of orange, like random orange spots. The most notable thing about him that people bring up to me very often is that he has 2 different colored eyes. and I don't know what the actual term for that is or not, but
there's some like tabby Maine Coon breeds that I've seen that like more a tabby is like your typical house cat type looking cat. But when they breed with Maine Coons, you basically get a house cat that has long fur and like certain attributes of a Maine Coon. So they typically look like a bigger tabby with like a more dense, longer like hair type of fur.
That's what I thought, because I thought Pat's was definitely like at least Maine Coon, a little bit of Maine Coon in his cat.
My last cat was definitely a tabby Maine Coon mix, if I had to guess, because Tarzan was fucking fat. My God. And he was a lap cat too. Like the second I got home and sat down on the couch, he was just right there.
Dummy is a 70 to 60% Siamese and American short hair.
Does he like wail at night like Siamese cats tend to do?
When everybody closes their door, because sometimes he's bad, he'll like scream. Scream. And like when he plays, he's aggressive like a Siamese, but like when he's cuddly and stuff like that, he is not a Siamese at all. Yeah, they're awesome. They're just mean. They can be.
They're very territorial. Yeah.
Yeah. This one isn't. He is not at all. He's like, he'll go up to anybody. He's like, oh, what up? Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm working with my kitten right now to be really open and receptive to like human interaction. You got to start that early.
Like, because he doesn't like to be picked up like a normal cat. He likes to be coddled like a baby. Anything like other than being coddled with a baby, he doesn't want it. No matter what, he doesn't want it. He hates it.
I don't know if it's gonna change when he gets older, but for my kitten right now, like that's his jam, is being like held like that.
I mean, they might grow out of it, but this one hasn't. I mean, you can touch his back paws, you can touch literally anything on that cat, and he will not give a shit if he's in the cuddly mood. But if he's in the play mode, can't touch him.
For me, like my kitten's just like
a complete ragdoll,
a limp noodle. Yeah, he's so chill.
See, I think that is a true indication that cat feels very safe where he is. And I've always said that like cats are kind of like a reflection of their owners in a way. So like if your cat is an asshole, you're probably an asshole to your cat.
I think there's a reason that people feel like that they do the whole like parent thing with their animals, because in some way you are kind of like rearing a younger, lesser like life form and trying to keep it safe and nurture it and teach it what it should and shouldn't do. Like I'm training him to stay away from cords and outlets and stuff, because
you got to do that.
I'm a musician. I've got tons of cables. I don't have kids, but I know you are familiar.
Yeah, they love chewing on cables. That's one thing I learned about kids right away, is they love to chew on cables just like cats.
My fucking that cat eats anything. Our cat eats anything you give that fucking cat. Immediately goes in its mouth. He doesn't give a shit.
Matt, do you have stretched ears? I can't tell.
No, I don't actually. I think it looks really good on other people, but for some reason, I just like never saw it for myself. I've got pierced ears.
The reason I ask is because when I had, not the tunnels, because I've got tunnels right now, that's primarily what I've been wearing lately, but if I had like opal, like solid opal ones or anything, like my cat would steal it and I'd never find it again. And I don't know what it is. Like all of my solid, like either like organic stone material ones or things like that, like they always steal and then I never get it back.
The ones that fuck up your ears, Pat, like that one night?
Yo, motherfucker, that was because I tried to stretch way too soon. I knew right away, but I was stubborn. I was like, nope, this fucker's going to stay in. I want to be at 30 millimeters right now.
Bro, you got
I know.
That night fucked you up.
I know.
It's probably because they're just so fun to like bat around, you know?
Probably.
That's what I think it is also. I know that opal because it's...
You should look under your stove.
Shut the fuck. You're probably right about that.
Yeah, probably.
Dude, you're gonna find all of your fucking like everything just under your stove, under your fridge.
There you go. Yeah.
Telling you.
Well, I've moved a couple times since, so all those might be long gone, might just be, but if I go to move the stove right now, I'm probably going to find what the people who lived here before had, just
that sounds like an awful idea.
Yeah,
No.
that's why I'm like,
never mind, don't do that.
The toilet was clogged with toilet paper when I first moved in, so I know that these guys were pissed.
Oh God.
Good renter you got there. Good landlord.
Yeah.
Such a good profession to go into, landlords, right?
See, it's the funny part is like, Pat, I would not expect that from your fucking place because your place is beautiful.
My apartment is nice. The complex.
The complex, no.
Well, like a space can be what you make it,
Yeah.
Like I've known a lot of friends that you look outside of where they live and it's like super sketchy, and then you walk inside.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful just because they're lovely people and their home reflects that.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, yeah, the inside, you can't judge a book by its cover,
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I've been to Pat almost every place that you've been in, Pat, since you moved here, except for the trailer. I've never been in the trailer.
Be glad you were never in the trailer. I've thought many times. I don't know what you just said.
One, I've never been in that one, but I've been in literally almost every single one else.
I would torch that one right now.
The only issue that I've ever seen with trailers, I've never lived in one personally, but from people that I'm friends with, the issue that I've heard of is rats.
Yes.
Like they tend to migrate under and find their way up.
The only issue that with trailers is snakes, rats, and depending on what you have for a heater in the trailer, it gets stupid loud for the heater. It'll go like boom, boom.
Right. Well, and the walls on those units are usually so thin too.
No, the trailer that I used to live in, no. This apartment that I have now, the fucking walls are like this thin. Like,
dude, I track vocals in my apartment and I've never gotten a single complaint. I'm so shocked.
They must like what they hear.
I mean, probably.
I hope.
I hope.
Yeah, same. I mean, either that or they're just so terrified by like the screams and stuff that they just don't want to complain to the office because they don't know what's going to happen.
It's all of the screams they hear. They're like, I'm afraid to say something because
I'm surrounded by like elderly people. So,
oh my God, they know what they're listening to then. They know.
They're like,
they know.
They're like, I don't want to. They don't want to like know exactly what's going on. They're gonna be like, I'm just gonna let this kid go.
It's either that or they're so old that they just can't hear it anyway. So
too.
Either way, it sounds like I'm in the clear.
Like, let's just say like how thin, like my downstairs neighbors, that they got evicted, so nobody's down here anymore. But like when they used to live here, like I could hear literally everything, no matter what. Even if I had these headphones on, like everything.
That's awful.
Oh yeah, it was terrible.
Well, like I was saying about the trailer before, the one issue I never had a pest issue. I always had a personal issue. You could fucking hear everything. I couldn't take a shit without my neighbors hearing it. That's not okay. That shit doesn't fly with me. And I lived there for 1.5 years, man. That was a very uncomfortable 1.5 years.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be able to deal with that. And I live in like apartments and I don't even really have that issue. I think the only time I hear my neighbors like is when their water heater kicks on or something.
Yep.
And that's just like if I'm in the living room and my water heater is like, over there where my laundry section is.
Yeah, my water heater is literally right next to me.
Yeah.
Really right next to me. And it doesn't make a single noise. It's the only water heater I've ever had that doesn't make a single fucking noise.
Yo, lucky you.
Well, the last one blew up while I was on the road, so...
Oh, well then it sounds like life was just like, yo, he had a bad experience. Let's throw him a bone.
Yeah, literally. Like when I was in Connecticut, this was before I met Pat. Literally in Connecticut, and I get a call from my sister. She was like, so the water heater just blew up and went straight through the floor into the downstairs apartment and destroyed the downstairs apartment. And we got new floor. I ended up getting new floors, a new water heater, just knew everything. They
straight up. That sounds like something that would happen in like a Chevy Chase movie in the late 80s.
Right?
I was like, what do you want me to do? I can't fucking do anything. I'm in fucking Connecticut. What the fuck do you want me to do? Call the landlord. I don't fucking know.
Oh my God. Have you ever had anything like crazy like that ever happen to you?
No, not really. Like I've never had a crazy appliance issue or like a fire. I've been pretty fortunate. Yeah, I've been in a couple like car wrecks, but you know, nothing serious.
I've been in some car wrecks.
Oh my God, Kyle. Kyle should not be alive.
I shouldn't be alive, no. 100%. I say this like I don't know how many times I've said this fucking story on the podcast, but I hit a tree going 60 miles an hour on the driver's side door.
Holy shit.
Yeah, 60 miles an hour. Destroyed the fucking vehicle. And like everybody that I came in contact that saw the truck, saw the vehicle, and saw me, you shouldn't be alive.
Yeah, that's fucking wild, man.
My front seat was in the passenger seat. That's how hard I hit that fucking tree.
Jesus. Well, congratulations on breathing. You're
that's
doing
why, that's
really
why
well.
We all say, yeah, that's why we all say I'm immortal. So.
Well, I always say that like if you had 9 lives, then you'd be down to 5.
I'm down to 5 or 4.
Yeah.
That experience alone had to knock off at least like 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got other stories, but we'll tell him for another time.
I got way more stories.
Oh my God. So is that guitar just for decoration, or do you actually pick that one up and beat the fuck out of it sometimes?
This one I do play, and like I shift around the ones because I've got one hanger here, and then if I can turn the camera here without distorting the image too much, I've got a V on this wall. That one these days is mostly for show, just because it's in drop C, and we don't play in that tuning ever. So it's more of like a sentimental thing. My grandfather bought it for me before he passed away.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. The guitars that I'm using the most right now are like actually over there in our recording space. It's a 7-string Schecter.
Schecter's the shit.
Schecter and Ibanez are probably what we use the most to record with.
They're kind of becoming the standard for post-hardcore, metalcore.
They are affordable, they're dependable, and they stay in tune really well. Like honestly, they're just really good middle of the road guitars, and like obviously they're high-end guitars, they're great, but the fact that you can get a pretty decent 7-string Ibanez for like $400, maybe
not
$500.
bad, really.
No.
Yeah, and like, you know, it's not going to be the most amazing guitar, but you can swap out the pickups and boom, like you'd never even know.
Well, between that and like changing preamps and stuff like that, like there's a lot of processing that you can do to make a shitty guitar. You could pick up a fucking Fender Strat right now, throw on some fucking, I don't even understand string gauges, but whatever, stupid heavy string gauges on there, and you could play some shit on that, make it sound like it was tuned to drop F. Like
right, and especially if you had the right processing.
It's not even about the, like, as much as I love and like have a real appreciation for both the aesthetic and the tech side of guitar tech, it's not about that anymore. You don't have to have that shit to be good anymore or to sound good.
I do firmly believe that if you have the raw talent and you hone it, it is going to show through in the music. But I do also agree with you. Like, you don't have to have all of the physical prowess. You just have to have the mind for it and access to, you know, some sort of, you know, programs or, you know, something that you can make or create with.
My biggest like thing with that is just that I way more appreciate songwriting than I do your, sweep picking or anything that you think is flashy. I'm always going to be drawn right back to like really good songwriting. So like what's disappointing to me is like, because I know that tomorrow we're going to do our album of the year podcast with Native Diamond. But the song that has been my favorite song this year is Weird, Carnage by the Browning. Like I always go back to that song, and like weird songwriting like that is the shit that I focus on the most. Way more than anything else.
Checked that song out, and after we hop off here, I'll have to check it out and I'll like shoot you a text. But yeah, what's so appealing about it?
Just like the breakdown of like, it sounds like EDM on the breakdown. It's there's rapping in the middle before the breakdown, and it's just heavy.
It hard cuts from Carbon Copy, that borderline metalcore, deathcore vibe. All right. Then it goes straight into EDM, straight into rapping, straight back into heavy, and just, I don't know, something about the way that.
It's just the way that it flows.
I got a mad amount of respect for that.
Okay. Yeah, no, you definitely have my attention.
Besides, that's kind of been the Brownings like whole thing is like they merge EDM and like metal in a way that like not a lot of bands can get away with. So
now you got me. I literally hear the breakdown in my head right now.
You're welcome. I'm trying to learn the rap part. I'm trying to learn how to scream the rap part.
I know it.
I want to scream it. I'm gonna do a cover of it one day. One day. It ain't gonna be today. I'm 4 beers in, so not gonna happen now. If you think you're getting a scream out of me, fuck. Yo, neighbors, you good? You ready for this? Yeah. But before we wrap this this awesome chat with Matthew Ruin from In Vain up, is there anybody that you want to shout out or anything like that? You can shit on somebody too.
Whatever.
No, I really don't have anyone to shit on. I mean, I did some minor shitting on Franz earlier in the chat.
There you go.
I'm pretty content with that amount of shitting. Like, I feel like that was appropriate. Yeah, no, shout out to Keep My Secrets. Anyone listening to this, go check that out if you're into alternative spooky rap. Yeah, I don't know. Thanks to you guys for having me here.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
All right, guys, you know what it is. If you've made it this far, obviously you give a like, you give a comment, and a subscribe, because that's the obligatory YouTube thing that you do. All right, that's first of all. Second of all, Kyle, what do they do to that bell button?
Hold on, I got to burp.
That was
shit out of that bell
so
button.
weak.
I know. Like, I can feel it right here.
Kyle, now you really got to tell them what to do to that bell button.
Shit, it came
Yo, if you guys thought that burp was weak, smash that subscribe button.
Yes.
You can thank me later for turning this around.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Don't worry, he'll do better next time.
Yeah, I'll do better. And crowd kill the shit out of that fucking bell button, please.
Because you don't want to miss the notifications. You want to know when we upload stuff, all right? Because you never know when chill chats like this one might come up. So, boom, done. And obviously, links will be in the description to go check out In Vain and so on.
Also, check out Metal Merch Co.
Oh, yo, you really just did that.
Yes.
You really just did that.
Metal Merch Co. Use our code.
Like right at the tail end.
Yes, NUMUSICK Pod. Use it. 10% off. If you don't want to get your significant other or anything for Christmas, get the drip.
Get the drip.
Smooth.
You know what it is, where it is. Link is in the description. You don't have to type in NUMUSICK or NUMUSICK Pod. There's a link in the description. I include it on every fucking podcast. So go do it, because Jeff is our homie and he makes good shit. So yeah.
Jeff, give me some more shirts, please.
You use our code. Fucking buy it. We'll make a couple bucks back off that. So
I know.
Yeah, there you go. Boom. Yeah. And obviously buy some In Vain merch. Wait, you guys have merch, right?
So we actually have, when I say we've taken this last year to like build, I mean that in a lot of ways. We've taken down our merch. We're going to be relaunching really soon. We're working some stuff out with the label and figuring some things. We actually may be dropping something really special merch wise, a physical release of our debut EP. So definitely look forward to that. I can't say when it's going to come out, but I'm super excited for that.
And so if you specifically go into Matt's OnlyFans, you're going to find a very special Christmas gift on, what is it, the 20th? I'm just making shit up at this point.
I mean, I do have an OnlyFans, so if anyone listening is
that's like a big way to help.
Curious, yeah, no, check it out.
All right. I don't know if there's anything else to plug at this point. You guys know what it is. Go fucking spend some money, all right? You guys can't do anything. I don't know why you're even still here and why you haven't clicked on to the next podcast, all right? If you're still here, go buy some shit.
Yes.
Not from us, though. Buy it from somebody else. Support our homies. All right.
Homies.
Fucking buy. What do we say at the end of this, bleh? Or like, what do we do? There you go. Good enough. Bye.